Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Lam here. In today's video, I want to take a look at the ZEISS ZX1 because it's a very interesting camera. It's trying to take the entire creative process and it's allowing you to doing it on the camera itself without having to go to an external source like exporting it to your laptop, which is very interesting. It definitely has a lot of pros and cons. What I would say about this camera is that it's more of a prototype than a finished product, but I definitely think this is a very creative way of tackling the content creation process, and it could be the way of the future. So we definitely need to pay attention to something like this. So let's go ahead, look at the camera, and then I'll talk to you about my thoughts on it. So it is a all-in-one camera, so it's got a built-in lens. It's designed to be compact, something that you can definitely travel with. So as we scroll down, what you see is that it comes with a 35mm lens, which is a great lens for photography. But if they actually truly wanted it to be a hybrid camera, something that's kind of interesting for vlogging, I would have chosen a 24mm because it would allow vlogging to be a part of the creative process. But at 35mm, it's definitely more geared towards photography. It has a leaf shutter, which is some tried and true technology. It has physical dials for aperture, ISO, and shutter speed. So anybody from the Fujifilm cameras would definitely like that. But with those physical dials, it definitely makes it very easy to use for photographers. And lastly, it does have a large LCD screen in the back, which makes it very easy to use. But I really wouldn't know that until I actually got a chance to use the camera, because touchscreens can be very finicky. Some of them could be very good, some of them couldn't be. But overall, it's a very minimalistic design. As we scroll down, this is what makes the camera interesting. It actually has Adobe Lightroom built in, so as you take pictures, you can actually just go ahead and edit your pictures, and then you can go ahead and distribute your pictures how you see fit. Although that last part, I don't think they actually did it right for this camera. You do get 1 year of Adobe Lightroom for free, but for the cost of the camera, they should have given you like 5 to 10 years in my opinion. They could have probably worked out a deal for Adobe for a longer period than 1 year. Now, where I think they got the camera wrong is that there is no SIM card for this camera, so there is no cellular technology. You're going to have to depend on your cell phone. I think for a true all-in-one system, you do need cellular connectivity. It could be optional. You don't have to actually register it and turn it on, but I think that should have been built in, and I think they should have gave you the first year free. For the price point of this camera, that should have been all built in, and it should have been seamless, and that would have been great for this type of camera, but I think they just fell short on that. They do have USB-C. They do have a 512 SSD built in, so your camera should be able to write to that disk very quickly. But like I said, without cellular connectivity, with you having to depend on, say, your smartphone or a computer, it kind of defeats the purpose of all-in-one, because you're just missing that last piece to really integrate the entire process. And that would have given them some incredible flexibilities on what they could do in the futures in terms of actually updating this camera, because with continuous and reliable cellular connectivity, you can do a wide range of things that might not be available right now when the camera first launches, but you can definitely work on it to improve it, to really make this camera shine and do innovative things with a camera system that you treat more like a platform than just a one-off camera. Now, if you scroll down further, there is a photo gallery, and eventually you do reach the spec sheet, which I'll go ahead and thumb through. But at this point, I do want to talk to you about this process and why I think it could be the future. I think this is an idea that's definitely worth pursuing. And the reason why I say this is cameras and also smartphones that we have nowadays, we've kind of democratized how we can create content. Anybody at this point can actually create content. We can go ahead and share our thoughts, our knowledge, entertainment, whatever you want to share. We now have the ability to do it. We now have the internet that can allow us to distribute it, because we no longer need studios or big budgets, and pretty much everybody has access to this type of technology. But because we've solved this problem, as we go further down the line, we run into the next problem. And the next problem that we're currently running into is distribution. In other words, there are large corporate gatekeepers like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter that you have to update your content to, because search engines are right now centralized and everything has to be in a central location in order for people to search for content, because that's the current limit of technology. But with cameras like this, it can kind of change that a little bit. And the reason why I say that is, if you made the whole entire creative process in the camera itself, that means that file that gets produced can actually hold more protections for the content creator. In other words, the file that the camera actually creates can actually be significantly smarter than the files that we currently produce, and actually have built-in unalienable rights to the content creator. Anytime you actually create a file, when you upload it to these content distribution networks like YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you're really giving up your ownership, because there's terms of service that you have to actually agree to in order to use those content distribution networks. They're going to decide how it's going to be ordered, ranked, filtered, and how much money you're going to get out of it if they have a profit sharing. So you're giving up a lot of rights when you actually do this. But say in the future, when this technology is a little bit more robust and a little bit more refined, say that camera system created that content, and when it outputted that file and it goes to a cloud service of some sort, it actually has unalienable rights. In other words, your content has a terms of service built right in, because it just comes right out of the camera, and it protects the owner's rights because it's built right in. And pretty much all of our creative machines does that. All of a sudden, the balance of power these distribution networks has over us as content creator starts to shift. It really starts to balance out. So again, I'm trying to cover this at a very high level. What I'm trying to say here is that the distribution networks right now has too much creative control, and we don't really have enough say as content creators. I think this is something that the camera manufacturers and the smartphone creators definitely needs to start thinking about, because these content distribution networks, they're never going to give up their power. Why would they? I think if the camera manufacturers can do something on that front, that's going to be the next revolutionary camera. It's going to be something akin to moving from film to digital, because when we had that, it really changed how people looked at photography, and it really opened up what photography could be. Those are my quick thoughts today. I know I went a little bit philosophical for this camera, but I do think it is a step in the right direction. Definitely let me know in the comments below what you think about the camera or my ideas. I hope you're doing well out there and you're staying safe, but I'll see you in the next video.